What's up, guys? So today I'm going to show you a new method that I want to try out to process the clay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to build a big sieve just right on top of this. So I'm not going to use any wood this time. I'm just going to use the mosquito net that I have still. Figure out a way to cover it over here good and nice and tight. A couple ideas of how I want to do that, but we will see. And then that way I can just push all the, if this is tight, I can just get my clay slurry, push it into here, and that'll be a good way to just get off a lot of the excess organic material and hard rocks or big rocks or anything like that if there is. So that's what I'm going to work on today. So I'm going to cut this, but I'm going to leave a little bit of slack, and the slack I'm going to use to roll up this stick that I have, to roll the mosquito net up in this oak that I originally cut for a staff, but it ended up bending. So I want to cut it about the length of the box on either side. Cut it and then cut it one more time, so I'll have two nice pieces. I can wrap those up on either side, and that way it'll keep the net nice and tight. And then I'm going to clamp it down, and we'll see how tight that actually is. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do is I am going to get the clay that I have so far, put it in here, mix in water with it, and try and break it down into a slurry. So I want about the consistency of pudding before I put it in to this guy and push it through. When I get it into this guy and I'm able to push it through, a lot of that debris and stuff that is going to get sifted out is going to stay on top here. So bigger pieces of rock and leaves and sticks and stuff like that should all just sit on top of this. Hopefully that's the plan. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to fill this up with water and with clay, and I have this guy, so I'm going to use him to just kind of mix everything up with, and I have a longer pole that I can use to mix it up if this doesn't do well. Alright, this is maybe only a little over 100 pounds, so I'm going to try and mix this up. Get it into a nice slurry. Maybe we'll levitate the clay, the water off, and then what we're really trying to get is, see all that stuff through here? All this organic stuff we really want to get out, and then any big rocks, which this clay is pretty pure, so I don't think there's going to be that many rocks in here, but I still want to get all the organic and all the bigger stuff that I can. Alright, this is about the consistency you wanted at. No real big chunks. Oh, still one right there. For the most part, no big chunks. You got a good amount of water to mix up the clay in. it keeps it all the same consistency. That's the main thing. You want everything the same consistency, and then as you're mixing it in with the water, it should become more level. And then after it's become level, kind of like that, almost like a pudding texture, I think that's about the best time to pour it in to the other container that has the net, and the one that has the net will get all the organic materials. So that's what we're gonna try next. Alright guys, I got a bucket. I'm gonna scoop this up, pour it in there, and we're gonna see how good it filters stuff out. Should get some stuff. Work it out pretty well. Alright, so we still got a lot of clay in there, but I just want to show you guys what it's looking like. So a lot of this is being held, and you can tell that that's just really fine clay already, and you can hear it just slowly starting to make its way down there. But something I like to do when it gets clogged up like this is to get the hose again and give it like a spray effect and just spray down this clay, and it'll just push it through the screen, and then all the bigger stuff will be left up top. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, show you guys. Alright guys, so as you can see, that is all the stuff that is in raw clay that you'll typically find is a lot of this bigger rocks and minerals, and then also like wood and leaves and stuff like that. But that's typical of what you're going to find, but that's all stuff that you need to get out, especially if you're going to try and throw it on the wheel. You definitely want to have it out. And then this water that I sprayed into here, I can always let this sit for a day and pour out, because eventually the clay will settle and I can just pour the top of the water off. But I want to make sure I get all this out first. So what I want to do for this, and I've already kind of thought about it now, I need to remodify this. I need, whenever I'm doing this, to put another layer of this on. That way it goes, all this stuff goes to the top, this first layer, and then I can easily just throw it off without having to take these clamps off. So those are all things I'm going to try and work on and show you in this video. Yeah, so I'm just going to try and put it right over it already, just because it's, you know, it's big enough it can carry a lot of slack. I don't really have to worry about keeping it like clammed down or anything like I have the one below it. But I feel like they would give it even more of a filter, and at the same time I can just lift this straight up and toss it instead of having to undo these and put them back on and stuff. So I feel like that's going to be the best bet with this guy. I'm going to try that one more time, and then I'm just going to let whatever I have left in here sit, and probably come back to it in the morning, pour off the excess, and then I might just let the clay dry in it, or I might try and pour it into something. I really want to get it into a cloth bag so it can get the last of the moisture out and get it to a nice consistency. before I put it into a plastic bag. So yeah, I'm gonna just let the video play. Alright, this has the double layering on it, and yeah, it's as easy as just taking it off, and look, it even caught some smaller bits on this that I guess would have went in there. I need to figure out, actually I'll probably come in underneath and just tap that out, because I really don't want to take off the clamps every time, and just kind of keep most of that out. But then all this was from the top layer, and yeah, you definitely don't want that in your clay. So I just drop that into the garden bed area, and it's good to go for another round. Alright guys, so it's been 2 or 3 days since I filtered this. I came out yesterday and I ended up pouring some of the water out just because I checked it and I forgot to record, but I'm going to go ahead and take these off so you can see just how clear it is, the water, the top of the water compared to inside, and it looks like some of this organic stuff has kind of made its way through the holes. Some of it still got in there, which that's okay. It can be burnt off. It doesn't have to be perfect for me, but you can see. Let's see here. Yeah, you can tell just how much water is really on the surface, you know? That's all just water. Right underneath the water is really fine clay particles that have all settled. And all I'm gonna try and do is just pour off this water and try and pour off the top as much as I can without pouring too much of the clay out, which you really just need to do it slowly. So I'm gonna pour this out and just take it slow. You don't want to disturb the clay too much, so really you're just gonna lift it as slowly as possible and try and dump it as slow as possible. You can see all that clay is starting to come up now. And once you feel like you're starting to pour off like a big amount of clay, just pull it back down. And there we have it. Now we've got some nice filtered out clay that I think will do the job good enough. And once it's at this stage, what you can do is grab like a 5-gallon bucket or if you're strong enough, just pick it up, and you want to pour it into, I like to put it into like a pillowcase, pour it into a pillowcase, but now that I'm doing it on a bigger scale, maybe I should pour it into something bigger. But either way, a pillowcase, get a 5-gallon bucket, scoop it up, pour it into a pillowcase, and let that sit until it gets to the thickness that you want it to be at, or the, you know, the hardness you want it to be at. But yeah, that is it. Alright, once you got into your bucket or whatever you're going to store the clay in to get the last bit of moisture out, or the right amount of moisture that you need to get out, mine being a pillowcase, yours could be whatever. Make sure it doesn't go through. Just make sure all your clay doesn't just seep out through the pores. You know, it should be fine enough to hold it in and only let the water out. So keep that in mind. Other than that, that's really it. And you can still see some water coming off of this guy. You know, it's not the most efficient, but it gets the job done. So if y'all have any other ideas about how to process clay quicker or more efficiently, let me know. Other than that, I just let this sit out. I'll let it sit out in the sun, or I'll just let it sit outside for a couple days. I mean, it really just depends on how quick the water seeps out of this clay, and how much water is in there to begin with, and what kind of clay body I want to mess with. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll probably show you what it looks like after it's been resting for a couple of days. So alright guys, so this is the finished product. It's been sitting out here for a while, and that's mainly because right after I got done pouring this into this pillowcase and taking it out, the next day it got rained on, and it pretty much rained for like almost 10 days straight. So it's been out here for a while, but then these last few days the sun has been out, and you can see the consistency of it now. So, you know, you can leave it out in the rain because it's not, the clay isn't gonna come out through the pores of this pillowcase, but it will take it longer to get to this consistency. But this is a good consistency for me to use it. So now that I've got it in here, I'm just gonna get a plastic bag and wrap this up in a plastic bag, and whenever I want to use it, I'll just take it straight from this pillowcase. I probably won't put it into the bag itself. I'll probably keep it in this pillowcase just because it saves me a little bit of time. But I don't know, I might take it out again so I could reuse it. I found a lot of these pillowcases at a thrift store, like a pack of 10 for like $2. So I don't really care about getting this and using it right now, but I may have to eventually. Looks good. Let's go and weigh it. Alright guys, so I want to see about how much clay I'm getting per one of those buckets. So I'm going to do that by using this weight scale. It says right now I'm at 193.4. Now let's add this big bag of clay. with it. With my, so that was 193. This is 221, so I'm getting about 30 pounds. 30 pounds per bucket. So I mean that's not bad, considering I think I could still get about 2 more buckets in that one storage container that I slurried up. But yeah, that's it. Nice, solid thing of clay.